Okay, so some things to know before I start playing the video. For the containers, we'll be draining the fourth one to 0 at 1 minute, and at 3:30 we'll drain the second container to 60%. For the little ads, we'll have a weak guard to handle interpretation. And then for the ad spawns, we'll be using immunes to get as few spawning as possible. Basically, you use your immunes on CD as long as you have them up for the fourth eye, which should be around 4 minutes. AMZ and clone work. So the start of the pull is pretty straightforward. I'll probably have a stack closer to the canisters, so like where I'm standing, I think it's better to bait the bottle soaks a little better. No, it's pretty straightforward. Nothing really happens here. Just we can just stick that. So I'll try to do this later once I get it. So you have soaks. You really generally want to have only one person soaking so they do a good amount of damage. Obviously over soak rather than miss. So you see this weaker on my screen. Obviously I don't need it because I'm a priest, but the timers on this fight are kind of bad. So you see it's like 7 seconds on ads, and then we're getting the cast now. But basically, for lightly conjured anima cast, you need to use an immunity if you have one, while having one up for the fourth cast. So this first one happens at one, like I said, the next one's at around like 4 minutes. So you can use your 3 minutes here, so we have blocks here and all that. Um, so yeah. So you only got one person instead of three. So the priest obviously cannot avoid it. And then we'll have healing DR CDs kind of rotated on that ad spawn. So so really quick to explain this. Every set of orbs has four instead of three. And for every set there's a pair that is close. So notice that these two here that I'm hovering my mouse around, they're close ones. We were marking those with blue just to point it out. You don't stand exactly on blue. This is just like this is a pair. That's what this blue is supposed to signify. And I'll try and do the same. Basically, when you do it though, as a non-blue person, your only goal is to line up yours with blue. I'm not even looking at the purple player. I'm like not looking at them at all. I'm just lining up with blue. That's it. And this is even really slow. You can do this so fast if people are all understand how this works. You line up from where you are to the blue person, and the blue person kind of lines up with both, but then like sits still and lets the other two people adjust. It's very, very, very straightforward. All right. And then for movement, just keep in mind when you get the orbs, you get knocked away from the boss. This does matter later on when there's beams and void zones that you want to avoid. So look at what stamina just does here. Like, this absolutely trucks. Look at mob's HP. So just be mindful. If there's any sort of mechanical overlap, you definitely want to pop a DR or use a health potion if you're about to sick. Or if you're... So we're just chilling, more soaks. So this time we didn't get as many immunities, obviously. Basically, I think we only have DKs that have immunities right now. And we got kind of lucky, so... Even getting 2 is lucky here. And the point of this is just to lower... This is a DPS race. We want to have as much damage single target as possible. Alright, and then general boss movement, by the way. So we'll start kind of at start and then move towards skull and orange as the fight goes on. And the range will kind of follow behind. Just keep that in mind. I actually don't like the movement on this pull, so I'm going to find a video. I think the Fact Track X video is much better, so I'll refer to that later. But that's just like the general movement strategy here. So this is the third set. That's more immunities. That's for the weak aura. Everyone's saving for the fourth here, so we kind of obviously missed a bunch, which is okay. The fourth is the most important one. Okay, so now remember that there's lines here, just like on heroic. These lines will absolutely murder you. If you touch these lines and you're doing the orbs, you will wipe. So make sure you're getting knocked back such that you don't go through the orbs. And once again, you just line it up, right? So I'm lining up the blue of the purple, kind of purple above his head at blue. right? And it's nice and easy. The player markers don't actually matter at all, by the way. If you need to, call it out. I always call out if I'm getting close or far, or if I'm getting the blue. Let's help a good emit, especially if you're like a healer and you're ramping. It's like obviously I don't want to move far in that scenario, so I call for close. Once again, there's lines and these are very deadly, so be careful. They do it nice and quick, so there's no problem. So we should be at star right now, actually. Usually. So we're kind of just slow with movement. But it's important by the fourth ads. The fourth ad set is the one that everyone needs to be immune for, and this is what we take at skull. I like the melee are at skull, and the range should be at star. Just keep that in mind. And then from here is a pretty nasty burn with all the canisters being pretty full. So remember that these have like the rotating lasers. It's actually super terrifying. So I'm gonna reposition to orange to not be in the way of the rest of the raid. I'm kind of taking my time, which is okay because they do it quickly. So there's double bounces, and the second bounce is always trend towards mid. So just keep that in mind as well. So I know I have it, gonna get knocked back. So you can already tell it's like this is a boomkin, so he's gonna go far. And the melee is gonna go do that, and it's just really straightforward. And then you do it quickly, watching the rotating lasers, and then come back in. And then people have to be mindful for bottles, as I pretty much all that come like. At this point, missing a bottle. I mean, we can see for the sixth set, we only got one. So the next set of soaks are gonna bounce into mid like this. So be careful, even though we're all baiting like on the right side of the room. The bounces tend to go towards mid, and they all have to be picked up, obviously. And then you go second pot at 5. If you haven't. And then on the last set of orbs, we just ignore. So that set we're gonna ignore, and the people that have sins will just people will just move out of it, and then we'll just summon the boss, and that's literally it. So not super insane, but no one can really mess up. People can't mess up the orbs more than anything else. Keep that in mind. But yeah, not too bad at all.